First of all, we will start with Biola. And yeah, since you are with the Lagos Angel Network, the question will be focused on funding. We would like to see your perspectives on the current state of funding, Lagos and Nigeria, and then also maybe interesting developments looking into the future or what you see on the ground.
Hello. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And really, it's always the post-lunch shift is the worst shift, but I have a feeling you're going to make this delightful. So thank you for being here. Daniel, thank you for really bringing us together to talk about the Africa ecosystem and some of the exciting things happening in it, but also some of the work that still has to be done. As the member of the newly appointed board of Lagos Angel Network, I'm excited to say that if you look at how Lagos Angel Network has evolved, it actually also mirrors how the ecosystem has evolved. So we've just inducted a second board. The founding board started 10 years ago. And the goal then was really to start investing in the ecosystem. What does it mean to invest in startups? How are we going to develop our continent? And this started not only in Lagos, but across the continent. Last week at the Africa Early Stage Investors Meeting, the Big Deal made an announcement that African startups have raised $2.9 billion to date, and that's to date. There's still a whole full quarter to go. 44% of that is Nigerian startups. That's $1.27 billion. The exciting thing about that is that journey usually starts with angels. And everyone has the ability to be an angel investor, which means our job starts from the day someone has an idea, from the day someone comes and does their first presentation. We support all these we support hubs. Without people coming up with ideas and those things being invested, we would not be having these milestones that we're talking about, which is 1.27 billion raised in Nigeria alone. We now, 10 years ago, when the group started in Lagos Angel Networks, no one had any ideas about what was going to happen to these investments. We had no ideas about exits. We now have a good sense of what an exit means, how we can actually see a return on those investments. And for those people that are here that are learning about what Lagos Angel Network does, we are an organization that finds early investors, early believers in our young people, people that are developing, that are innovating. We bring people like you together to invest in that. We can invest at the earliest stage with what you have. And so Lagos Angel Network, today we are here to train, identify, and recruit more people so that more of us can actually be at the starting stage and the starting line of these investments. The second thing that we've now realized, which 10 years ago was let's just get started. Today it's that we need to be part of policy, we need to be part of advocacy. So our mission now is also around how do we engage. So the last session was really interesting when we talked about public-private partnerships. That now has to be part of our conversations. We need to get more involved and engage with policymakers so that our entrepreneurs can continue to innovate. If the governor is saying innovate, innovate, the governor has to make sure that he is backing these people with breaking down these walls. And so we want to work with people like you to see how we can make sure that entrepreneurs are empowered to develop and innovate without having to worry about the, I don't want to say erratic, but sometimes it does feel erratic environment in which policies are being made. So that's a big part of our new mission, which once again, 10 years ago when we started, which if you look at the ecosystem 10 years ago, those were not immediate needs. Those are now urgent and immediate needs. The second, and the last thing that we're trying to do is also, as we've evolved, most people in the beginning of this journey as angel investors were sector agnostic. They just wanted to help entrepreneurs evolve. Today, we have people that are very interested in certain sectors, people that are interested in certain areas. And so now our job is also matching the right investors with the right entrepreneurs. And those are the things that we're going to be doing. And I say that because I think that you can see through the evolution of Lagos Angel Network, actually how it mirrors the evolution of the ecosystem. And so when you look at the ecosystem across the continent, you can now see the excitement happening, the number of deals being announced. I mean, there was also data saying that actually almost a deal a day, $1 million deal a day is being announced. This was something we couldn't even think of. 5 years ago, if a company came to you with $1 million valuation, you were shuffling your feet about how big can this company possibly get? We now know that we can, I mean, it's like 8 years ago, there was a question, where are African unicorns going to be? We don't have to have that question anymore. Now we're talking about decagons. So for me, the robustness that we're seeing in the ecosystem is exciting, and knowing that we are just at the beginning of this journey. And so for me, those are some of the, just to give you some context. But as we talk about this $1.27 billion raised to date, there's still a huge challenge. The fact that this 99% of this money is male-led founders. So the gap, the fact that less than 1%, I mean, I'm actually saying 99, it's actually more like 99.3. Less than 1% of this funding are female-led teams, or actually female teams. 99% of that, not only male-led, most of it is actually male-only leadership teams. And so as we talk about the SDG goals, as we talk about equity, as we talk about investments, we're also making sure that we have to continue to include women and lead and founders in that conversation. So the ecosystem is exciting, it's growing, there's a lot of investors coming in, there's a lot of international investors, we need more local investors in that ecosystem, but we need people to take bets on women. And so I'm gonna pause there so that we can have a conversation. Thank you.
Okay, great, and thanks very much. Of course, we could, I think, fill the whole session just by talking about funding, but I think the very last point about the lack of female entrepreneurs, not just entrepreneurs, also tech talent, the underrepresentation, is a very interesting topic. And I think I would then hand over to Sean Burrowes, because I know Ingressive for Good, you have a lot of interest in skills development. And my question would be towards both the current state of skills development in the system, but then also how and which measures needs to be implemented for inclusivity and diversity. So that would be my question to you.
Okay, perfect. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. Glad to be here and speak with all of you. If you can't tell by the accent, I am an import into the Nigerian country here. And what I was brought here to do basically was to be the founder of Ingressive for Good. Our goal is to train 1 million African youth, deploy $1 million in scholarship funding, and connect 5,000 of our community members to jobs over the next 5 years. And what we've learned very early on in our mission for social impact is that training for the sake of training is neither sustainable nor is it engaging. We found that it's very important, if you start talking about the development of talent or finding talent, that you connect the job sector to the talent so they are able to understand why they are learning and what they're doing. I may say a couple of spicy things, so guys, please forgive me. Just understand that I'm at the grassroots level. And what we've learned, in no uncertain terms, is that it takes a village to raise a child. We are finding that we cannot depend upon the school systems, not in Nigeria, not in Africa, not in anywhere that I've ever been, are you able to solely depend upon the school system to create ready-to-work talent. You find that you have to build the ecosystem around learning, and we definitely have to do that here. If you start looking at the state when people are graduating from school, what are they learning, the conditions that they have to learn in. If you look at what the freelancers are having to do to acquire skills and attain skills and how much it costs them as an individual to participate in any way, shape, or form in the skills that are driving the economies today, you understand that, again, we cannot leave our talent out there alone to fend for themselves. So what I've done is that I've kind of looked at it from 3 different angles: the angle of the private sector, the public sector, and the individual. And we'll start with the private sector. So by a show of hands, please, please anybody raise your hand if you or somebody close in your network has ever had to complain about access to technical talent. Anybody? Okay, so I'm looking at the majority of people in the room. And what that basically teaches me is that the private sector has to understand that this is not a problem that they are seeing in the space. It is our problem. It's not a problem that we can kick down the road. It's not a problem that we can sit back and simply wait for some advent to come around. It's a process where we all have to somehow find a way to participate and connect ourselves to that, to the upcoming talent. What I'm seeing that's working for us and that's really driving up engagements is when we're able to talk to the entrepreneurs, when we're able to talk to the startups and corporates, and they're able to give us an idea of what type of talent they're looking for, not only today, but where they see themselves growing in the next 5 years. Give us some time to be able to identify the skill sets needed and be able to install those skills in the talent when we see what we want to have long term. That's one of the major things. Again, the private sector, again, has to see themselves as walking in lockstep with the talent development efforts and pipelines going on around us. From the government perspective, I think that technical talent and just talent development it just needs to be looked at like an element of national security. Again, if you start looking at how things are moving, especially if you're looking at the tech space and how quickly advancements are coming, if we're not able to put the right type of minds in the right places, we're going to find ourselves from an economic standpoint depending upon a lot of different characters. So again, if we're looking at the example that China was going through with their back and forth with America, America decided at some point that we're just going to cut the water off. We're just going to remove you from the whole Google Play Store. We're going to remove you from Maps. And if you don't have a forward thinking, now again, this is not me supporting or trying to laud anything, it's just taking a very specific case. But if you look at the capacity they had to be able to say like, okay, we cannot use yours, but we have invested our capacity to be able to create our own options, create our own maps, create our own operating systems, then you're able to have a bit of leverage. You're able to be able to protect yourself, protect your national interests. So again, I think the government needs to start looking at ways to invest in the development of technical talent. And I think that, again, our honorable speaker today, I commend you for what you're working on, and I'm really happy to hear a lot of the things that you're working on. But what I also want to do is try to see, like, there are certain strengths that you have. There are certain things that are inherent to the space that you're operating in. But then you may go to another city or another state, and there may be something that they're strong in as well. So how do we turn this into a pipeline approach where there's a handoff? This person is creating this type of talent. We push them into this space. For example, we're just having very basic conversations now, but we're having conversations with Andela. So Andela is one of the people leading the way in creating senior level talent, CTOs, and those type of people that can operate at the global level. I'm focusing on the grassroots and introducing community members to technology and introducing them to just favorable outcomes and employment opportunities in that space. We should not be looking at Andela as a competitor or anything negative in that space. I should be looking at a way to how do I funnel the talent we have into that space to work with them. And again, let me just hurry up. Okay, so with the on the individual level, I think there needs to be a focus on operations, understanding how business works, understanding, again, how to generate revenue, how to create value in the places that they're going. We have a shortcut society, and when you have third, fourth, fifth generation shortcutters, you have a situation where we don't understand what the original idea was. We never understood what the original way to do it was. And then when you start coming into issues, that's when you start finding out where the holes in your knowledge actually exist. And when we start getting into inclusivity, just to wrap it up, I think we need to stop treating bringing women into the workplace or bringing women into the tech space as a dog and pony show, and it needs to be a part of something that we actually do. Like the example for Ingressive is that 50% of our staff, give or take, are women. Most of our leadership positions, give or take a few here and there, are led by women. If you look at our sister company, Ingressive Capital, 30% of the companies that they are investing in are women-led startups. When you look at Ingressive for Good, when we are launching programs like 1,000 Women in Tech, we do have programs focused on women, but also when we launch programs, we not secretly, but we let women know in advance to make sure that there's some type of balance there. So again, it needs to be a part of your core operations internally and something that you take to heart as opposed to just, showing people that I did something. So with that being said, thank you for your time, and I'll pass the mic.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we have 3 ladies on the panel, and now you spoke so adequately on this topic, so that's great. Now, next, Marguerite, a question for you. My question to you goes more in terms of the African startup ecosystems, also the Lagos startup ecosystem, and then the collaboration with other startup ecosystems, especially from, let's say, Europe. And I mean, if you have anything on the female aspect or supports that come out there, we are very interested to hear that as well.
Thank you, Daniel. Excellent question. First of all, a little bit of a context. Prototipi is an SME that was born and raised in Nigeria and Lagos, long-term expatriate and great local talents. And we are now expanding with offices in Johannesburg, South Africa, that are following us, by the way, live right now and tweeting live for us. So thank you, team. From Dubai and from Udine in Friuli. That's one of our motherland. A couple of years ago, we started approaching, and we work on transfer of technology and knowledge between these countries, right? That's our interest. A couple of years ago, we approached the European funding. European Commission has a program that is based on 7 years program. Horizon 2020, H2020 ended just last year, and now we entered into the Horizon Europe. Within this program, actually, the European Commission is investing billions of euros in research and development projects. Most of this funding is, of course, for European institutions, research centers, and so on. But notice that there is also a good percentage of this funding that requires the collaboration between European and African partners. So 1 year ago, we started DigiLogic project that Daniel mentioned before. DigiLogic is an H2020 project that has, among the partners, Digital Logistics Hub in Dortmund, Germany, Endeavor, an NGO in Germany, VTT, that is a huge, fantastic research center in Helsinki, in Finland. But on the African side, we are there with Prototipi, and we have a partner in Ghana, MEST, and a partner in Zambia that is Bongo Hive, a digital innovation hub. What is the goal and the mission that the European Commission has assigned to our project that will last 3 years? We have to foster the collaboration between digital innovation hubs in Europe and Africa, creating opportunities for peer learning, study visits, and most and foremost, to support the innovators across all these countries, and possibly to create synergies between startups in Europe and Africa. Because maybe, and actually for sure, African innovators know what are the needs here, what are the gaps that must fill in, and where technology can actually support. Maybe European startups have connections with universities or research centers or investors. So this is a win-win situation between both continents and companies from both areas. Now, we have a focus on this project on smart logistics. That's where the vertical that we decided to focus our attention. And I'm very happy, Biola, to say that one innovator that we have scouted and is already part of our ecosystem, she's based in Kenya, and she's the leader of Sandy, that is a very successful smart logistics startup that is actually connecting and creating a marketplace and smart logistics solution. And we had a webinar with her earlier on with only male panel. She was the only woman, but she was very tough and kicking old style male-run businesses. So that was really nice to see. There are talents in Africa that are coming up. Within the same project, by the way, because in these projects you have also the chance to develop, with the collaboration of international partners, very interesting technologies. Let me just try to wear. These are smart glasses. I suppose that most of you have already seen them. What we are doing with DigiLogic, and with the help, by the way, of a startup in Dortmund within the ecosystem of Digital Logistic Hub, but also with innovators here in Nigeria. We want to develop a smart logistic application using these smart glasses, how they can be applied. For example, warehousing, smart logistics controlling what is in stock, what is not, cross-checking. And as you can see, I can interact having my smart glasses on. This camera is actually looking at the audience. And on the visor that I have over here, I'm seeing the commands. So if I'm saying now, take picture, it's taking a picture. And if I say now, send it to Rina, Rina is in my contact list and she's receiving the picture that I just shot. And in a few seconds, I'm sure she will post it on Twitter channel. One more thing, there are several Horizon Europe calls open right now on different verticals. We are currently working with Prototipi on agri-tech, very interesting. Africa food cities, how can we, with technology, help African food cities and vulnerable people to have access to affordable, healthy, and so on food. Healthcare, very interesting, and renewable energies. Right now we are talking with excellent research center, Abeokuta University, Makerere University in Uganda, and more in Malawi. So a lot of opportunities, let's not them get away. Africa-Europe Partnership, European Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. First of all, you've probably been seeing me spying on my phone because I'm checking the time. We are very hard pressed for time. And with that regard, especially for Biola. So if I would like to give you the opportunity, maybe if you have any particular, if you have something that you would like to comment on with regards to what the previous panelist mentions, or even maybe in addition to the inclusivity topic and females in Nigerian entrepreneurship. Okay, thank you. Okay, apologies for that. There were some alternative arrangements. So, Nonye, so that means I'm quickly coming to you. As mentioned, Nonye from Data Science Nigeria, and what I would like to know from you is more about the current state of AI in Nigeria and Africa, and maybe also there some background or maybe the talent development in that space and opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much, Daniel. So the future of artificial intelligence in Nigeria is exponential. The device she showed is an example of IoT, which is a combination of hardware and software. Software in terms of artificial intelligence, being able to fit in some data sets to be able to give an output. So at the moment, Data Science Nigeria has to an extent been at the forefront of empowering young people with future work-related skills like artificial intelligence, data science, robotics. We know that's the future. So for the past 5 years, we've supported over 300 young people to learn these skills and prepare them for the future. Recently, we realized it's beyond learning these skills. The skills need to be exemplified. So we have a couple of these young people being placed in organizations as data scientists. And we also realized that these young people have been able to create solutions that would solve problems in Nigeria and beyond. And we decided to invest and support about 12 AI-enabled startups. These startups are located in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa. We did a call for application and we screened the startups. And in the process of conversations with them, we realized that a lot of our young people have a whole lot of potentials, but very few of them have access to opportunities. So funny enough, the 300 people that we've trained, most of these trainings have been at no cost. And the young people have been able to embrace it and literally change their life out of it. I am to an extent looking at what the ripple effect is going to be over the next 5 years. This is significantly going to increase and improve the GDP of the nation, and let's say the continent at large. So we've seen startups emerge. We have several case studies that we're literally proud of, especially in the fintech space. And aside from the fintech space, there are also several sectors that are literally leveraging technology to make significant impact. We can look at startups in the health tech space, in the education technology space. AI startups in Nigeria is literally emerging, but the future is truly exponential and tremendous. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, Nonye. And as we just outlined, we will now move to a quick Q&A. So we'll focus on questions for Biola first. So let's get started.
Okay, any questions for, in particular, Biola, because she's got a hard stop. She has another meeting to go to. But we're going to go back to the panel straight away. Are there any questions? And remember, she does represent the Angel Network, so I suspect that one or two of you may want to know a little bit more about that. So there's a hand there. Are there any other hands? Because I want to identify who are the questions. Another one here. Can I have a third one? One at the back. Okay, please just tell us who you are, which organization you represent, if any, and then your question as a question. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Ruth Salama, and I'm the CEO of Changera. So I do want to ask, how many women, since the Lagos Angel Network was formed, how many women that are founders have been funded by the Lagos Angel Network?
Okay, so we'll come to you. Biola's noted that down. Where was the other question? There was a question around here. Okay.
My name is David from Jobberman. Question for Biola. Supply chain and logistics is a key aspect of globalization, and given the recent challenges in this sector, it is important that Nigeria as a country prioritizes this sector. My question is, what support is the Lagos Angel Network giving to startups in this space, given that Lagos is a mega city? Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll just take the third question from there. I said I was going to take 3, so apologies. We'll have another session later. Third question from here. Again, please tell us who you are and make it a question rather than a long comment. Thank you.
My name is Ameze. I'm the CEO of Competence Automotive Limited. My question to Biola is this. There have been several rounds of funding for different startups, but the thing is that most times you get to see only foreign organizations or foreign angel investors funding startups in Nigeria. Now, is there an apathy from the Nigerian context in terms of funding startups? Are Nigerians afraid of funding startups locally? And if that's the case, what is the Angel Network doing to reverse the status quo?
Fantastic. Great question. So thank you very much. That's a really good question. So we have 3 questions. One, Biola, is there apathy on the Nigerian side? There seems to be some reluctance. There was a question about how many women have actually received funding, and the third is around supply chain and logistics. Is that right? Okay, Biola, over to you. And of course, if you want to think about the other panelists, any comments you want to make on that, either now or thereafter, or after Biola's comments, I'm sure we can probably get those in. Thank you. Biola, over to you.
Thank you very much. To answer the first question, the way we're structured is actually we work through syndicates. So different syndicates are members, which means basically different groups of investors are members of Lagos Angel Network. So our job is to recruit as many people so that there are many groups that are actually investing in startups. There's currently a study going on now looking at the number of angel investors in the ecosystem and the companies that they have invested in. So that data is being gathered. We will have that on our website. In the meantime, Rising Tide is a member of Lagos Angel Network, and they have invested in how many female founders? About 12 female founders. And so Rising Tide is a group of female angels and a few male members. And their mission and our mission as a member is to find, mentor, and invest in female founders. And that has been the mission in the last year, they've done over 12 investments in female founders. So there is traction, but when we're talking about the major funding, the rounds, that is actually where the biggest issue is. So a lot of times now there's more awareness. Women are getting funded, but they're not getting funded in other rounds. But please come back to our website. We will have all that information there. Our job is to be as transparent as possible around the investments we're doing and also gender, because we want to make sure that that's a focus area. The second question is around supply chain and logistics. So this isn't just something local. This is something that we're finding across the continent. This is the next wave of funding. If you look at the last round of fundings that have been going around, has been mainly fintech. And I think this is how once again, the industry is evolving. The biggest thing is payments. We're solving payments. I think the next phase is obviously supply chain and logistics. There's some trends we're seeing around embedded finance. Insurance is growing. So this is really the next big area that angels are going to be looking at. So companies and entrepreneurs in that space, reach out to different angel networks. I'm sure we will be able to support from mentorship. But really the biggest thing is providing investment. That's what the Lagos Angel Network does. And then we try to match you to different people that might have domain expertise, and they can help you with especially if they're investing in that sector, which is why we're saying that going forward, what we want to do is match investors with founders that make sense for them, so that you're actually getting investors that have domain expertise that can actually help you grow and help you scale. So that's a big part of what we're doing now. And then the last thing is around angel investing, period. I think number one, Nigerians are leery of investments, period. I mean, every sector. And so technology is a sector that is extremely new to people. A lot of people that do have some funding also understand that this is a very, very risky asset class. We make sure that we're very transparent about that, and we really try to make sure that people understand the risk associated with this. One of the things that the DG said earlier was about patient capital. That's what angel investing is. It's a patient capital. Your money is tied up for 5 to 6 years as the company grows, as the company scales, and sometimes that might not happen. So yes, there is some risk averseness that comes with this space. But at the same time, with the growth we're seeing, with the excitement we're seeing, with the fact that this is happening globally, we're seeing more and more people embrace this space. We're seeing more people invest in this early stage. Another thing people don't understand is that they're already doing this. We're just formalizing it for them. Most anyone here, if you go to your friends and your family and say, please invest in my company, they will invest in your company. And so that's angel investing. And so what we're trying to do is formalize and empower people with the knowledge so that more people can do this. So even though that there are people that are risk averse, we're seeing a huge change and more people coming into the space. And that's why we want to make sure we provide the right education, the right information, and the right access for people to be able to come in and feel confident about the investments they're making. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Biola. Thank you. There is one other question. It's a fairly technical question. I think it's a straightforward one. Please just introduce yourself and ask the question.
My name is Chidibemano, and I'm the GM for the Enugu State Tech Hub. So I wanted to ask the Lagos Angel Network, can you extend your angel investing to places outside Lagos? Enugu, to be specific. Enugu, to be specific, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And actually, I mean, I always almost feel like Lagos Angel Network is just a name now for us. It's sort of like a brand, but we're really, we're working across the continent. We're working across the country. We, one of the syndicates in our membership is the Southeast and South angel investors. So they're part of our syndicate. We co-invest in things. They bring things to the syndicate. So we're all investing. We all understand that we are interdependent. So even though we started in Lagos, our goal is to continue to support African entrepreneurs. So yes, we're in Enugu in different ways that you might not even see, and we probably have invested in companies that are coming out of your tech hubs or that will come out of your tech hubs because our members are across. We have another network that is called the Diaspora Network that is part of our syndicate. There are Nigerians that are based in the US and UK, across Europe, that want to invest. I mean, all they're doing is investing in Nigeria. They are looking at deals on a daily basis and they're investing and they're extremely active. So don't be, I mean, if you want to send us something, if you want to reach out to us, please know that we're where you are. And that's the beautiful thing about the angel networks that we have across the continent, is that we're collaborating, we're co-investing. We want our companies to grow and scale. And any African company that does not have a plan to scale across Kenya, South Africa, Egypt, that are not looking at those opportunities, they're going to be limited, because we all have to look at how we can get these companies to grow and be big. And the next unicorn can come from your tech hub, and we hope that happens. We want unicorns to come from everywhere across this country. We don't want this just to be a Lagos thing. We want to see them coming from Port Harcourt, coming from Akure, coming from anywhere, coming from Ikere, Ikene, anywhere that there's digital connection, there's digital transformation, there are technical skills. We want those people. We want people there. We want our young people there to be developing and to be building companies that are going to turn into unicorns. So we're here to work with you.
Great. Well, thank you for that. I had to step in because Biola really has to go, and we thought it was important, Dan and I, that we actually have you address some of the questions that have come up. We do have, unfortunately, very little time left for this panel, so I am going to suggest, with Dan's permission, that we take questions for the other panelists. I think we've heard some amazing presentations. I want that device, by the way. I don't know how we're going to negotiate that one. But yeah, you want it too. Okay, so perhaps we should take more questions, but perhaps for some of the other members of the panel. Any thoughts, questions, comments even? Can I just have someone who hasn't spoken? I'll come back to you. Is there anybody who would like to ask anyone of the other panelists, based on their presentations today, questions? Is it that people are shy, or are there really no questions? No? Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask. Oh, here we go. Thank you.
Yes, my question is for Sean. What kind of support do you need from the partners here that will enable you increase the growth of your talent development?
I appreciate you asking that question. I was trying to find a way to sneak my foot into that door. Um, so there are two major things that we need. Number one is we need a landing place for the talent that we're creating. Again, creating talent or having people learn new skill sets just to learn is not engaging or sustainable. And you'll create some angry people. And we've seen some angry people that have put a lot of time, energy, and effort to learning and just do not know where to use those skill sets. The other place is we need money. We are a U.S. Incorporated, Delaware incorporated nonprofit. We're able to offer certain tax incentives and stuff like that for countries that are, places that are foreign. But we need fuel for the fire. We do need support. And again, if you look at what we're able to do, we're able to train, once it gets to scale, we're able to train 30 to 50,000 people at a time for as little as $2 per person. So again, being able to us come together as a community or come together to be able to, put some money in the pot to be able to, again, look at a long-term vision of having access to 50,000 people who understand what your business model looks at, who understands what your future tech aspirations are and understand how they fit into that story.
Hello? Okay. Please, a quick one, buddy. In Enugu State, as a government, we're trying to see how we can bridge the gap for talent and individuals in the state. Okay, how can we collaborate with Ingressive to be able to scale up some of our talent, because Enugu State is more like a talent capital in the southeast. In fact, we have over 21 institutions in the state. Okay, so there is a whole lot of talent who are really hungry, for these opportunities. So how can we collaborate to make these things happen?
Awesome. For us, it's nothing more than a conversation. Once I understand what the needs are of your community, because honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm already operating in your state. What we have is campus ambassador programs, where basically at all of your universities that have an active tech program, we'll put in an ambassador and a co-lead ambassador, and they will have 5 to 10 people underneath them that are solely focused on drawing in everybody who has an interest in the tech space. So from there, that was what we use as the tip of the spear. So we have not only in your state, but we are active in about 50 different campuses within Nigeria and about 20 in Ghana. And again, we just have access to those, and when we're able to plug in, that's the tip of the spear for us. So it's about 20,000 people in that community as a part of the overall almost 100,000 member community. What we're constantly doing is passing out opportunities, trying to form partnerships, and again, trying to find out exactly where people fit in that pipeline. So we're actually launching Hackfest 2021. It's going to be an in-person and digital event. So for all of those, so the first step I would say is for those people who you have vetted, we would also vet them, but those people who have graduated, have some experience, we'd like to be able to enter them into that pool to be able to place them into jobs. People out here who have companies where you're looking for technical talent, for your entry to mid-level talent, we're mass producing them in a way that makes it affordable. And then we also have access in our network to senior level talent. So for all of your tech talent needs, come to us. And for those in your community that are looking to upskill in the tech space, also send those people to us.
Okay, Scene, thanks very much. And based on the time, we are already coming towards the end. I would quickly say, first of all, thanks very much, but also as a comment, I think the energy that we saw right now and already the starting of talking about future collaborations with the audience, with Honorable and between Ingressive, I think we can keep that energy going forward, even though we have to kind of cut this session short because we could talk more. So I guess there is the opportunity for more networking, more talking about collaborations. And I would like to thank the audience, and then also once again the panelists, from Scene to Margarita, Biola, Nonye, and of course Honorable as well. And with that, thanks very much, and the session is closed.